If we told you 2 months ago that the Boston Red Sox were contenders, you would have laughed at us. Now, Boston is proving that's no joke. In just over 2 weeks of baseball, the Sox flipped a nightmarish season on its head, re-energized an unusually quiet Fenway Park, and made some history along the way. Now, nobody can stop them, not even the LA Dodgers team of Avengers. Here's everything you need to know about the Red Sox' remarkable turnaround, the 15-game win streak, and why Boston is now a serious problem for the rest of the league. The Red Sox entered the year with high hopes. Fans and analysts alike expected Boston to return to the postseason with their exciting young core and lights-out rotation. They got off to a slow start though, posting a losing record in March, and April, and May. By the end of June, it was a full-blown disaster. On June 24th, the Boston Red Sox were 32-46, officially making them the worst team in the American League. Fenway Park, a cathedral of the sport, felt a lot more like a mausoleum. For most of the league, the season was only halfway done. For Red Sox fans, it was already over.
That is a handmade
White flag.
a DIY, so that's it.
But I
The
surrender.
Red Sox season is over.
To say fans were pissed would be an understatement. Certain stars were invisible, the offense choked in big moments, and was painfully unproductive. The team seemed lethargic, was brutal to watch, and lost in painfully laughable ways, all while the rival Yankees kept on winning. But how did it get this bad? How is a team that had been given an 88-game win projection on pace to win 66? The answer is any baseball fan's worst nightmare. The Red Sox combined a terrible offense with a bullpen that was the antithesis of clutch, all while many of their stars sat helplessly on the injured list. The Red Sox offense took an early hit, losing young star Roman Anthony as well as veteran slugger Trevor Story to the IL. With those two out, the lineup was anemic. Jarren Duran, who many expected to take another big leap, disappeared at the plate, and everyday catcher Carlos Narvaez looked helpless. Outside of Willson Contreras, nobody on the team was hitting the ball out of the yard. In addition to their power struggles, the lineup was one of the worst in baseball with runners in scoring position. It showed in the box scores. Boston was averaging an abysmal 3.63 runs per game in late June. While it was painful to watch, it was somewhat expected. See, GM Craig Breslow built this roster, in his own words, around run prevention. He knew powering the ball out of the yard and lighting up the scoreboard wasn't realistic, so he put together what he thought was a core of elite starters, a strong bullpen with a proven closer, and a great defense behind them. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. Garrett, Crochet, and Brayan Bello were supposed to be lockdown starters. They both got off to awful starts. Then Crochet got seriously injured. The team ERA was one of the worst in baseball. The starters were pulled before they could go deep into games, tiring out the bullpen and torpedoing Breslow's entire strategy. On top of that, the defense made errors in key moments. The losses that came as a result of the dysfunction were just the cherry on top for the fans.
If you want to blame one person, it's John Henry. If you want to blame two people, it's Craig Breslow and John Henry. But at the end of the day, it takes a bunch of people to collectively do things the wrong way for it to go this poorly.
Yeah, fans piled on the guys at the top. Whatever the opposite of the Midas touches, Breslow seemed to have it. His new roster strategy wasn't working. Alex Cora, beloved by the players and fans alike, was fired fewer than 30 games into the season. Remember, this is a fan base that is already on the edge, frustrated that Breslow and owner John Henry let Alex Bregman walk. Oh, and what about the complete mishandling of the Rafael Devers trade and its non-existent returns the year before? And now, the 2026 squad made up of young, exciting talent mixed with proven veterans was flat out failing. It was a disaster.
You know what I realized watching them yesterday, Keith?
What was that?
I hate watching them.
It's not fun.
I realized that I hate watching them. Is what I realized.
It is. It seems like a chore.
One thing about Boston fans is that they expect the best. They've watched the Patriots, Bruins, and these very Sox bring home titles recently. Losing is bad. Underperforming expectations while playing uninspired, lazy baseball? Yeah, that is simply unacceptable. Things needed to change, and though that seemed highly unlikely in the dog days of June, they were about to. Remember how we said the front office caught heat after firing Cora? Well, that may not have been such a bad decision after all. Interim manager Chad Tracy started making changes behind the scenes that fans may not have noticed at first, but definitely made an impact. See, Tracy let his starters run much longer than Cora did and stopped burning bullpen arms, stabilizing the rotation led by Cy Young candidate Sonny Gray. He also reworked the lineup. The Red Sox offense had little power, so instead of sending the same guys out there hoping it magically appeared, Tracy adjusted. He started guys who may lack power, but put the ball in play and get on base a heck of a lot more. Remind you of anyone? The team adjusted and results started to turn. They finished June 5-1, lifting themselves from the bottom of the AL. In July's first series, they swept the Flailing Angels. Nice, but nothing special. Then, they swept the up-and-coming White Sox. Impressive. The Mets on the road, another sweep, 9 wins in a row. Then came the first-place Rays, the best team in the American League.
OPS, 8th in slugging.
And a swing and a drive, right field, he's crushed another one. You gotta be kidding me! You gotta be kidding me! Holy cow! The Sox are back in front. Abreu with another home run. 7-6 over Tampa Bay.
Fenway is snapping. What is going on?
You guessed it, another sweep. Unlikely candidates like Anthony Siegler, Sung-Chae Chang, and Andrew Monasterio came through in huge moments. Fenway was as packed and rowdy as it had been all year. The Boston Red Sox, who were the worst team in the AL mere weeks before, were now the hottest team and biggest story in baseball. After beating the Orioles on July 20th, the Sox had a chance to make history. They'd won 14 games in a row. The franchise record was 15. The 1946 Red Sox, led by Hall of Famer Ted Williams, had set that record 80 years ago en route to a World Series appearance.
Got a base runner, the 1-1 to Alonso. Swinging a liner, great play by Chang. He throws and skips it. He got the out. There it is. And this incredible magic carpet ride continues. The Red Sox win their 15th in a row to tie the all-time franchise record from 80 summers ago.
That's right. On July 22nd, the 2026 team tied that incredible streak. Unfortunately, a loss to the Orioles in the second game of a doubleheader snapped it, but the damage was done. The Red Sox did the unthinkable and forced themselves right back into the playoff picture. But how? How did they do it? How did the 2026 Boston Red Sox go from cellar dwellers to contenders? We can tell you this much. It wasn't pretty, and it wasn't easy. The word gritty is overused in sports. This team, though, deserves to have its picture next to that word in the dictionary. As the Red Sox got used to winning ugly, the team culture shifted. The team that was previously dreadful in the clutch turned it around. They took tougher at-bats, walking more and striking out less. Role players became heroes. Guys like Caleb Durbin, Masataka Yoshida, and Jarren Duran snapped out of their slumps and came through in big moments. Wilyer Abreu found his swing, mashing 5 homers during the team's tear. Willson Contreras, the emotional leader and best hitter on the team, proved why he was an all-star, continuing to lead the Sox in basically every important hitting category. Meanwhile, Sonny Gray was simply unhittable and solidified himself as a Cy Young contender. The bullpen and defense.
0-2 to O'Neill. Line drive, caught! Chad catches it, and that's 14 in a row, baby!
Yeah, they toughened up and started coming through in the clutch. In fact, the Sox bullpen was statistically the best in all of baseball in July. They led MLB with a 4.5 WAR while also having a 2.91 ERA and a 3.34 FIP, both lowest in the league. Not only that, but Boston proved its depth by leading the league with 21 wins and 13 saves. The players had seemingly bought into Tracy's calm, stack wins mentality. The talent was showing, but more importantly, so was the grit. There's no doubt about it. The streak saved the season, with the Red Sox now suddenly finding themselves in playoff contention. And guess what? There's even more good news for Red Sox fans. Boston should be getting Crochet and Anthony, 2 of their most important players during last year's playoff run, back just before the playoffs. Injured starter Ranger Suarez is also back in the mix, though he didn't exactly get off to the hottest of starts in his return. Still, there's no denying that this is a team trending in the right direction health-wise.
It means that Craig Breslow, who went to Yale, has a good growth mindset. Because the way the Red Sox approach their off-season movement has actually now borne fruit. in the course of the 2026 season.
Well. Turns out Breslow may have known what he was doing all along. Now, the front office hasn't been completely vindicated, but its vision is finally starting to play out on the diamond. And I think it's fair to say that the frustrated Red Sox fans have changed their tune. Somehow, some way, Boston was in a position to buy before the deadline. They sent 24-year-old left-handed pitcher Connolly Early to Washington for infielder Curtis Mead. Unfortunately for the Sox, the excitement of that move was short-lived. A wrist injury is going to result in a lengthy stint on the injured list for Mead, which is a shame for both the Aussie and the team in general. Thankfully, a new name arrived shortly after to get the good vibes flowing again. You see, the front office went trophy hunting.
And we've got breaking news to lead off our Baseball Tonight trade deadline special. Eduardo, the Red Sox have acquired Adley Rutschman.
It's within the division, but Adley Rutschman goes to the Red Sox, and now they have their catcher.
Yep, Breslow went all in. The Red Sox needed a catcher, so they went straight to their division rivals, the Orioles, and took theirs. Adley Rutschman, the former face of Baltimore's rebuild, will now call Fenway home, as the Sox solved one of their only weaknesses: catcher. See, Rutschman is a massive upgrade from Narvaez in almost every category. He can hit for both average and power, and knows how to get on base, rarely wasting at-bats by chasing pitches. On top of that, Rutschman is a tremendous defender, both at blocking and with his arm. In short, he's a 3-time All-Star for a reason. Rutschman came at a cost though. Boston gave up 5 players for the O's catcher, including Carlos Narvaez and a top 50 prospect in Anthony Ianson. Was it an overpay and a risky transaction? Yes, but the front office smells blood in the AL water, and if Rutschman ends up being the missing piece the Sox needed to make it to the top, it will all have been worth it. Rutschman is an exciting player, for sure, but do you know what else gets the fan base going? A sweep of the daunting Dodgers. When that was followed up by a sweep of the White Sox, the reality of the situation became clear. The Boston Red Sox are here to stay, and every other MLB team needs to watch out. Baseball is a funny game. Every time you go to the ballpark, you see something new. Every year, teams that are supposed to be elite flounder, and teams that aren't expected to make any noise shock the league. A good baseball team can make your summer, like a beautiful breeze, an ice-cold drink with your feet in the pool. A disappointing team can ruin it, prolonging the dog days, making the hottest weeks of the year even more unbearable. The city of Boston couldn't have been more down in the dumps a couple of months ago. Now, it is the proud hometown of the most refreshing team in baseball, a team that is hotter than the summer weather itself, with the sunniest of forecasts stretching into October. See, the Red Sox are going to get better. Suarez and Crochet will be reunited for the playoff push, and if they perform as well as they have in the past few years, they will form one of the nastiest duos in the entire league come autumn. Offensively, Anthony and Story are set to return towards the end of the regular season. Combine those two with a reinvigorated lineup, and the offense is looking dangerous moving forward. Nobody can predict the future, except maybe Craig Breslow, but it sure looks bright for these Boston Red Sox. Get excited, Sox fans. The streak was scintillating, and it was much more valuable than 15 wins. The streak helped the team find its identity. The streak completely shifted the mindset of the franchise. The streak put the team in playoff contention, and most importantly, the streak proved that the rest of the league needs to watch out, because the Boston Red Sox are officially a problem. The question is, just how far can they go? Let us know in the comments.